Terry Sweeney here with No Jitter, and joining me now is Divya Wakankar, Executive Vice President, Enterprise Business and Marketing with BICS. Divya, thank you so much for joining us on the No Jitter News Desk.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let's start with a fairly broad question. I'm curious on your perspective at this. Talk about what emerging communications technologies have to do and what they offer enterprises today.
Yeah, very interesting question. So we are looking at the needs of the enterprise customers initially, right? So enterprises are going through the digital transformation journey. It's kind of very important for them to make sure that they have all the workloads being migrated into the cloud,
Sure.
and their applications are in the cloud. So that's step number one. Then we are also looking into the enterprises looking for the optimization of their cost structure, right, and having operational efficiency. So that's an important aspect. And in addition to that, we see that the customer engagement expectations are going higher and higher, right? So we have to make sure that the enterprises have smarter tools, smarter solutions, and also smarter workforce. And today you can hear a lot about it from the generative AI discussions
Sure.
that's going on at the show. In addition to that, we see a lot of focus on the security, and the compliance, because regulatory compliance is one of a key requirement when you go in different markets around the continents. Right?
Sure.
So these are kind of the emerging needs. And when we talk about the technology there, I think we all have great keynotes that I went through today, Microsoft, Cisco, and RingCentral, and they're talking about how we can have the co-pilot mode helping us through. So the tools are getting smarter. Now we have to make sure that we have the right methodology, the automation and the processes to place these tools so that the workforce can use it and use it in their benefit, right? And there we see a lot of focus coming from enterprises to make sure that the migrations are happening seamlessly.
Sure.
So that's kind of the main focus that we see in the industry.
Yeah,
today.
thanks. You've got such a great global perspective on this, and I'm curious from where you sit and from the customers that you're in regular contact with, what the key challenges are that enterprises are facing from a business perspective.
Yeah, so many enterprises today are still facing and dealing with the legacy systems, and they have a technical debt there, and they're trying to become agile. So, that's a kind of a challenge for them, because where should they put their workforce? What should be their priority? Because you are dealing between priorities and priorities all the time, right? So that's an important aspect that we see today. As I talked about in the previous question, security is something that I think is
It's
very
huge.
important. It's huge, right? The spectrum is huge. You can go from the device security to the network security, application layer security. So this is a huge spectrum, and we have to make sure that all players are doing their role, right? And they are trying to keep the end-to-end transactions secure for the customers, right?
Sure.
So that's an important aspect. And then we also see quite a lot of globalization, right, happening around the globe, right? So there, it's very important that we are bringing together all continents. There shouldn't be any digital divide between the continents, and I would really like to see all continents at the same par, coming together and
Sure.
having the same kind of smarter tools availability for them.
There's maybe you've heard a work from home trend that's sweeping the globe for some strange, inexplicable reason. Talk about the role that digital communication technology is playing to support the hybrid and remote working that companies and employees are pivoting to worldwide.
Yeah, this is a global trend, right? We see a lot of employees working from home, the contact center agents are working from home. And I recently had a conversation with one of our customer, and we called it a phygital experience. You have a physical and a digital experience, and you would like to have a seamless experience there, right? So that goes together with the smarter tools, right? So you have to make sure that your tools and capabilities are in the cloud, right? You have the workloads there so that it provides seamless experience to people who are working from the office or who are working from home. And there, I think cloud telephony plays a very big role, right? when you enable cloud telephony, that enables these software services, the contact centers or the unified communication tools or the CRMs, right?
Sure.
With the telephony capabilities, which we still need, right? Voice is an important component. We always talk about, the async method of communications like messaging and other social media channels, but voice is still a critical piece of communication.
Absolutely.
And we have to make sure we have the right channel offered to the customer based on their preference, right? They are the ones who should decide what's their preference.
That's also helpful context. How will cloud expedite this transition to the two-way communications that global enterprises are demanding from these cloud telephony services?
Yeah, so we see quite a bit of demand from the application providers to have cloud telephony capabilities around the globe now. And there you have to look into the security and the regulation aspect, because not every country is VoIP ready today, right? So
Of course,
that's also an
right.
important element there. So when we go through that, the tools are ready, but then the systems which are supporting it, the networks are not yet ready because the regulations are not ready, right? So we have to work together as an ecosystem, build the ecosystem together and go for it.
Does cloud provide sort of an equalizing factor? Like the local infrastructure may not be ready, but if it's in the cloud, does that simplify rollout and management for you and your customers?
Indeed, it helps, but you really need a last mile there,
Oh,
right?
of course.
And for the last mile, you have to make sure that your telecommunications partner in those specific countries are agreeing to it, and you have to provide the emergency capabilities to your customers, right? So you have to make sure that those basic requirements are covered for your customers. But we are on the right track, I must tell you that. And we are working together, and there we have a lot of education going around in the ecosystem to talk about, and it's an exciting space where you see that it's becoming as a joint workload that people are sharing and trying to build the solution.
Do you see enterprises somehow monetizing the technologies that they use?
Yes, we see definitely enterprises are trying to monetize with the new business models. So they're in B2B business, you have now B2B2X models, right?
Sure.
So that's coming up quite often these days, where you would like to have an ecosystem there, you have partners in place, you have suppliers, you have customers, and you have system integrators and others, right? So you want to make sure that the whole model is working towards providing the right kind of capability for the end customer. At the end of the day, that's about customer centricity,
Okay.
right? And then secondly, we also look into higher ROI. So you have to increase your return on investment, and the new technology is helping it. You are going to make flexible and tailored offering towards your end customer. So that's quite a big thing, right?
Sure.
And in addition to that, with the new technology, you can definitely make sure that you have optimized your costs and your operations and taking care of that.
Divya, real briefly, can you just talk a bit about how businesses can future-proof their communication services?
Yeah, that's a very important question. I think they should go for a service provider who is reliable, scalable, and resilient. That's an important aspect, and don't forget the security and the compliance piece. That's a must-have. So I really look forward to enterprises going in this direction, going for a service provider who can take care of these important aspects for them to bring the businesses life.
Cloud-based communication seems to also offer some future-proofing as well, just by its very nature. Yeah?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So that really makes sense. So we are in the process of, working with the hybrid infrastructure and also with the cloud-based infrastructure where security is taken care of. So, there's a zero trust concept that comes in as well, and we see a lot of Internet of Things also playing a role now. So I see technologies converging together, which is an exciting space right now.
Great stuff. Divya, you've given us quite a glimpse into the future. We really appreciate you stopping by the No Jitter News Desk today. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.